Awesome. Hey, welcome everyone to the final episode of our summer sprints. My name is Stephen Callender. I am the owner at Foster Commerce.
I'm Darrik Moberg. I am the current head of engineering at Foster Commerce.
I'm glad you're here in week 12. Two things we're discussing today. One is our mini headless build, which is basically a replica of our .all workshop from last year. We had a Nuxt 2 and Craft 4, Craft Commerce build. And so we're building out the Nuxt 3 version of it. We're just calling it the mini headless. And so Darrik is going to demo where we are on that. So it's not fully done, but it's far enough along that we're basically going to wrap it up pretty soon. And then we've got an announcement. We've got a winner. We said for people who's subscribed and kind of joined us and follow along this summer, that's one of you would win one of our new t-shirts. So let me show you that real quick, and then we'll tell you the winner at the end. There you go. Nice and bright for you. I'm excited about these. I like them. Without further ado, why don't we jump in? Darrik, I'll give you the reins. Kind of show us what you've been building and migrating over, and kind of what you want to show us with the Nuxt 3 version of our just kind of little mini headless build.
Sure. So for anyone watching at home, this version of the site is deployed on the internet, and so you can find it at this wonderful Netlify URL, which will be in the show notes. It'll be, to say it out loud, it's mini headless headstart demo.netlify.app. So if anything you want to look at and kind of see, you can see it there. The source code, unfortunately, is still currently private. We're figuring out how we're going to distribute it to people who are interested in this. So sign up for the newsletter, reach out to us on email, and you can figure that part out. As far as the site goes, so the site can handle singles. So we've got a homepage, which is a single in Craft, and it's got dynamic content. So we like to use this pattern of using matrix fields to build out different kinds of content. So that's what you can see here. And then for more like dynamic routed pages, this will handle that too. So like I've created this about page, and then that one is actually routed at about us, but you can change that URL in Craft to be whatever you want, and Nuxt will handle it. And then we have categories that fetch your product data, handle pagination. So if you have hundreds of thousands of products, you're not trying to load them all on a single page to keep users' bandwidth kind of low and keep things focused. Again, very, very high level overview. You can view the products. Currently, only the color selectors are working. So like this t-shirt only has one color, but if I go back to this one, it's set up with multiple colors, but this color is currently not available in the default size, so you can't select it. So just kind of like different sort of like basic functionality that you might want, we've implemented so that if you take this for your own builds, you can, piggyback off what we've already made, or you can kind of see how you might implement some of these things. To kind of go back, so kind of going and showing you the admin section, right? So these are organized how you might expect. So the entries, right? We've got singles. So you can control your 404 page, which isn't implemented on the front end yet, but will be by the time people can start using this. Your home page, and then we also use this global settings page to control things like the primary navigation. You could add in the footer links if you wanted to control how your footer looks. Those kinds of things all could be controlled from this global settings object or settings entry. And this, you fetch on the front end, and you can use that to fill in data. Your pages are managed in the pages directory. So your category pages are here, and so are your content pages. You can see here to get the nested URL structure, I was playing around with disabling this like top level page and then adding in the About Us page farther down. And then because Craft is looking at removing the categories, or moving all categories to entries, we started you off there. And so we control all of our product categories through entries, and they can handle nesting. So you can have like t-shirts, and then under those t-shirts, right, you have things like straight cut or fitted or long sleeve, cut off, whatever, however you want to organize your product categories. You do all this through the special entry type. And then, you can query for that on the front ends and use that to fill in data. The site's configured with SEOmatic. So if I kind of pop these up here, you can see like all of the pages that have been configured have their headers. I still need to do some work on the product pages because they're not currently like there's no SEOmatic data for them right now. So as I mentioned, we have different kinds of content. So we have these collection pages and we have these general pages. And I kind of want to show, so if someone was going to use this, how this works on the front end, coming into the editor to kind of show how we handle dynamic page types. What we do is we have a single query, which we call which the actual query in the GraphQL code is called page entry, which fetches the page based on the current route. That comes in and gets us information. Like this has every single kind of page type that you might have that can hit the special catch-all route in view. So we do that, and then we have a special kind of component that we call views, which actually handle rendering out all of the page data based on the page type. So if you wanted to, so you see here we have the two page types I mentioned before. We have a general view, which is for our general types of content pages, and then we have a collection view, which is for our collection pages. So if you wanted to add in a new kind of content like a channel or a different kind of content page, anything like that, you would come into this folder, you would come into the code, you would add in the new view for the content type. You would update your GraphQL query to include that new content and everything you needed for it. And then you would just add it to this this chain of views. So, if your entry type name was whatever your new content type was, use that view and pass it in. You'll see here we use the lazy version, which is a special Nuxt 3 syntax for not for loading it dynamically, and that way your pages aren't super bloated with all of the components for all the entry types that you don't use. So, and then here's that views folder. So we keep all of the views are kept separate from your components because they feel a little weird because they're something like pages, but because of the way that Nuxt does routing and not needing to fetch the entry type before you fetch your content to know where to route things. We've just found this is a much cleaner way to work. As we mentioned, this isn't done yet. I'm working on it. I feel like we're getting closer. But things we're still looking to do. We're still looking to do cart and checkout. We'll probably go with just a simple implementation for now, but we're eventually going to work on a headless version of that Foster checkout plugin we've talked about a lot, and it should be reasonable to integrate that in if you start a build with this, but also we might release a version of this that has that baked in. I still need to do live preview. So while I was working, I didn't really set up live preview in Craft, but it should be, it'll be one of the things that'll be added into this so that if you use this for a site, you can go through and, your content editors can start editing content and we'll be able to see it in the front end. I think those are the big two things. There's a little bit more, like I said, a little bit more work on the product pages. These product variants all have size attributes, but the size selector wasn't finished yet. So, and then, the SEOmatic data for the product pages also needs to be configured. But that's kind of it. It's looking really close. It's feeling like we're getting close. So hope, if you're interested in this, you can, sign up for our newsletter. We'll probably send out an email when when this is ready for purchase, you can email us directly with questions, ideas, suggestions, all of those kinds of things.
Perfect. Yeah, this is super exciting. Darrik, thanks for showing off that. And I know all of us on this side are super excited to be able to use it for our projects as well. Kind of have it up and running, have it kind of a thoughtful base, and be able to have some of the time, that thoughtfulness up front to kind of save us weeks. I mean, really. So that's the benefit that we're looking for ourselves. And then obviously, I think it'd be a benefit for anybody who else wants to use it, is just kind of save you weeks and not have to think about the infrastructure side of it. We're going to keep it updated as Craft makes updates. We'll keep up some of the opinions. This is we call it the mini because it's less of our full-on opinions of like how we would really build full things, but it has at least the base of it, right? And it's meant to have, as Darrik talked about, the concepts of at least working with the different parts of Craft, with a single, with structure, section, with different entry types. We'll probably add in a channel so that we have like a blog section as well. That's something that's not really in the one-to-one from last year, but we will probably need to add, just to kind of have another sample, and then the whole cart checkout piece as well. So it's going to have quite a bit to kind of get you started, but the intention then would be that you would just kind of take it, use all that as like samples, sample data, sample instructions, and sample ways, and then you would kind of just override all of it with your own queries, your own sections, your own fields, your own all of it, right? So and then go from there. And then I think the other thing is, the Verb has a good link field, kind of I think hyper, that we'll probably replace with one we're currently using. And other than that, but I'm thrilled about it. It's going to save us a lot of time. And we'll keep kind of adding some other things to it as we also plan to build out a fuller version over time of a full-on foster commerce opinionated piece. So we'll see how that one goes, but that's at least a kind of tentative roadmap for us. But that's it, really. Anything else about the mini headless that we should be talking about? I think kind of covers it.
Yeah, that's all that I've really got.
Cool. Well, why don't we wrap this up then? So again, thanks for joining us and for being with us in our final episode of our summer sprints. If you have any questions or comments about anything we've talked about today or in the past sessions, feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube channel or contact us via the website. Just get in touch. If you've enjoyed kind of watching us kind of talk about what we're building and kind of figure things out in front of you, then stay in touch. We're going to be starting up our podcast again. So something I did years ago, the Commerce Minded podcast. Finally, I'm really excited to kind of bring that back and start talking to people who are working inside Craft and Craft commerce world. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to spin that back up. And if you're interested in any of our plugins that we've been talking about, that we talked about before, the variant manager, foster checkout, commerce reports, if you're interested in this mini build, then just reach out to me and we'll start a conversation. Just hit us on the website. All the same places I've just said. You can find us. You can talk to me. Figure it out. We'll connect. So without further ado, the moment we've been waiting for, we will announce the winner of our new Foster Commerce t-shirt, which I showed before. I'm wearing it now. So we pulled a name out of a hat. I think it was a fictional hat, not a real hat, but maybe it was a real hat. Elle did it on our team, and she told me who the winner was. And our winner is Ludo. Congratulations, Ludo. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for following along. And you can look for your t-shirt soon. We will ship it across the world to you. And just glad you're following along. So everyone, thank you so much on behalf of Michael and myself and Darrik and the whole team here at Foster Commerce. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you all sometime around in the future.